What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this year's Halloween Spooktacular. I am once again talking about a new release that is on a streaming service. I've had Salem's Lot on HBO Max, Apartment 7A on Paramount Plus, and now we're talking about Hold Your Breath on Hulu. A young mother in 1930s Oklahoma who is haunted by her past and trapped in horrifying dust storms. She becomes convinced that her family is threatened by a mysterious presence and takes extraordinary measures to protect them. This movie had a lot going for it, honestly. I think the performance from Sarah Paulson is really good. She has to tap into so many different aspects of what the script is asking her to do, and she nails it perfectly. I really love the setting too, like 1930s Oklahoma Dust Bowl. I don't think we've had anything, at least in recent memory, or anything that I can think of that I've ever seen where the Dust Bowl was the backdrop of a setting, and I really appreciate that. It made the movie feel a little bit fresh in my mind. You're taking that setting of the Dust Bowl and you're creating this atmospheric tone. There's this sense of dread throughout this entire movie, the dread of going out into the open so that you don't inhale the dust that is being blown around, the sense that there's some strange happenings possibly going on. That's what makes the movie atmospheric to me. That's where the movie really, really shines. And when they are outside in the dust and when the dust is actually coming in, dust has a lot to do with this movie. So it's actually really fun in my eyes because the thing is that you can feel the characters choking, you can feel them eating the dust, and as an audience member, you feel like you're choking on the dust as well. You feel like you're eating it. You have that awful taste in your mouth as characters are inhaling the dust. You're just like, ugh, yeah, I can taste it, and it tastes like ass. Oof. And I appreciate this movie for not just being a straight up horror movie. It's actually more of a psychological thriller, too. Are these people going crazy? What is actually happening? Is the dust actually causing these people to go crazy? There's a lot of questions this movie raises, and a lot that it answers, and a lot that it doesn't answer. There's a lot that's left ambiguous, and I like when movies allow viewers to have their own interpretation of the events that are happening. But I think that this movie borrows way too heavily from other movies. It feels very familiar as you get towards the end of this movie. It feels like you've seen it all before. It just feels like an amalgamation of so many different ideas that it borrows from that the movie starts to feel less exciting as it's going on. The tone changes so much because there's way too much happening with this movie. I'm not talking about the story or the narrative. I'm talking about the fact that it feels like so many different genres here. There's a part of the movie that feels like a haunted house thriller. There's a part of the movie that feels like a home invasion thriller. There's a part of the movie that feels like a straight up horror movie. You see what I mean? I feel like the movie couldn't decide what it wanted to be, and it tried to combine those three, maybe possibly more types of genres into one thing to try and come up with this cohesive narrative. And again, the story and the plot points make complete sense. It's just it feels messy when it shifts tone from being a haunted house thriller to a home invasion movie to a straight up horror film. There are a couple of jump scares that I thought were effective. There's a few others where I'm like, no, it's not clever. You're not. I'm not falling for that. There's also one moment in particular where it took me out of the movie for a minute, and this is going to sound like a nitpick. This is going to sound like something Cinema Sins would complain about, and I don't like Cinema Sins. I think that they've ruined film criticism, but here we go anyways. Okay, there's a scene where a bed is on fire, and the two kids are calling out for their mother, and the mother has to put out the fire, right? So, of course, conveniently, right there is a bucket of water. And it's not just a bucket of water, it's a bucket of water that is filled. There's a few too many conveniences like that in this movie. They couldn't have taken the extra time to just go into the bathroom and fill up a bucket of water. We are also in the Dust Bowl era, so the water might be dry, it might be just full of dust at that point. Like, I feel like that water would be dirty. Ew. There's conveniences like that in this movie that did get on my nerves, and I try not to think about that type of stuff when I watch movies, but here, for some reason, I don't know, for the briefest moment possible, it crossed my mind, and I have no idea why, and I have no idea why it's actually a complaint of mine when it should probably just be a nitpick, because like I said, it sounds like something that Cinema Sins would complain about, and I don't like that. I don't like thinking like that. I don't like thinking about the littlest things that you could just pick apart in movies, unless if I'm obviously roasting a movie. When it comes to actual film criticism, when there's a film that you actually can find some things that you like, I try to block out the littlest things to complain about. But for some reason here, It bothered me. I don't know what it was. I don't know what the spark in my mind was for it to bother me. End does get a little bit too predictable. It feels like the movie ends a couple of times. It does feel like it has the Return of the King ending for a 90-minute movie. But I think that this one is effective enough. Like Salem's Lot, like it's not gonna blow you away or anything. If you are in the mood though for a slow burn psychological horror, you have it. If you're in the mood for a full-blown horror movie, like how they're marketing this movie in the trailers, other promo material, you're going to be massively disappointed with Hold Your Breath. But I think it's effective enough despite a lot of limitations that it has in terms of how it approaches certain tone shifts and how much it borrows from other films. It's the Babadook meets the Witch. That was the comparison that entered my mind immediately when I started watching this, especially when you're introduced to this entity that is supposed to possess you. Oh yeah, it's also a possession movie too, apparently. Thing that's called The Gray Man. I think the rules are established fairly well and are fairly consistent throughout the movie, but you have to remain fully consistent, and I don't think the rules were fully consistent. There were a few holes in the rules. So it did leave me with some questions as to how things could happen, but mostly it keeps up with its own lore and rules that it establishes, which helps make this solid enough. I'm going to give Hold Your Breath a B minus. So, guys, if you have seen Hold Your Breath, let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.